Okay, now for the prepping aspect of things now, if you're trying to start now, it's almost trying to run the horse back into the barn after it's burned down, as many of you probably already noticed. There are some stuff still out there. Um, Yesterday I went into a local grocery store, small town, very small town. They've got a Dollar General, a little Chinese restaurant, uh, like a little coffee shop. There's not a whole lot. It's 10,000 people maybe. We've got a small grocery store, and surprisingly enough, they had absolutely no toilet paper, no sanitizer, no bleach, none of your typical stuff like that. They had some milk. They had a bit of eggs, I think. Cheese. Their produce section was pretty well loaded up. So I bought cabbage and onions and things that I normally like to eat anyway. And they'll store quite a long time in a refrigerator. Cabbage and onions will store months. The other thing you can do is they had vinegar, which you can use as a cleaning solution and disinfectant for a lot of things. And you can, like my grandmother used to do, that's apple cider vinegar because I like the taste of it, and sliced onions. They'll keep months like that. My grandmother did it with cucumbers and onions. I don't like cucumbers, so I leave them out. But some of the things you can find for food yet, right after everything started really disappearing, we hit our local Menards, which I'll probably cause a run on Menards if anybody's watching this and hadn't picked it up. They had lots of this yet, and you can pick up 5-gallon buckets because they haven't been disappearing, and store some of this in 5-gallon buckets and stick them in the back of your closet, especially after things are better and if you got bit by this and don't ever want to get bit again. Things like this are pretty well cheap. The Bear Creek, it doesn't take anything but water and a pan, and you can fix. It's maybe not the best meal, but you can add Spam to it. You can add tinned tuna. You can add whatever you like. It doesn't take much to really get prepared. A 5-gallon bucket will last you, it'll last a good little while. If you go by the calorie count, it probably lasts longer than an actual reality of what people really eat. So you'll have to figure out how much you eat, and then just a little bit of a time when you're buying stuff, put a 5-gallon bucket in there, and if you're going to buy 3 of these, put 1 of them in your bucket until it's full. Snap the lid on, get another bucket, and forget about it. Your toilet paper, if you don't ever want to run into this situation again, a 5-gallon bucket again. I've done videos on this in the past. You take your 5-gallon bucket, take your toilet paper. When you buy a great big roll, take 1/3 of it. Take the cardboard out of the center. It's fairly easy to do. You can take it out, then you can flatten the roll up, and you can pack a lot of toilet paper in a 5-gallon bucket. And I know people that were laughing not too long ago at my suggestion of doing this. And I also know those same people now are not laughing because they were down to 1 roll of toilet paper, begging for people to give them toilet paper. My thought on that is, if you're going to sit there and smirk at me and be a smart ass, you can probably learn to wipe it off your hands. It's kind of how I look at it. It may not be necessarily nice, but at the time when you're trying to clue people in and they're telling you that they never need to do this and blah, 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 okay, learning experience. The world just changed. And if you don't learn to deal with it, then you're going to have issues. All of this stuff, health food store, still have it. Menards again. All this is easily storable. A lot of it will fix with water. A lot of it you don't even really need heat. This you can leave sit overnight in water covering it up, and it's perfectly edible after a few hours sitting. Eat dry. This you can cook. Takes a little bit of heat. Same thing, you can actually leave this sit for a while and eat it, but I prefer rice cooked. A few tins of something. It doesn't take much to really prepare. Most people, up until this, thought that they would have time to go get everything, that they could just go to the grocery store. No, the grocery stores don't, as you found out, don't carry anything. Nothing's really stocked anymore. very little is truly made in this country from start to finish. So the issue we're having now is we can't get the basic supplies in. Yeah, we have some things to make things from here to the finish, but if you can't get the basic raw materials in to get here, and we're dealing with this at work, then you're stuck. So this total reliance on everybody else sounds good on paper. You know, oh yeah, we'll get this in on time and we'll get this on. That never works. Even in a perfect society, that never works. If you think that you're going to live on the bottom part of a tank of fuel in your car, you know, and the bottom eighth of a tank, you're a pedestrian. At some point in time, all it takes is a little minor hiccup and you're a pedestrian. You know, if you think you're going to live with 2 days of food in your house, they're having problems with this now. They're talking about actually closing things down for several weeks. Okay, now the problems I've been seeing some people have are, oh my God, I can only get 2 days worth of food at a time. Okay, if they close things down for 2 weeks, you're kind of hosed. If I've told people, if you're going to consider something a necessity, which toilet paper really isn't. It's nice to have. Man's lived a lot longer without toilet paper than he has with it. There's other ways to take care of situations like that. The more important thing is food and water, which a lot of people are running into that now. There's a lot of people that will not keep food in their house. I don't know what the deal is. They tend to like to want to eat and go out, but they go to restaurants. Okay, restaurants are being closed. Kids are being kept home from school. You're gonna have to cook. If you don't have the food, then you're kind of screwed. Now, alternatives to where you can look. Yeah, I hear people, oh, I'll hit the wood line, I'll do this, I'll do that. There's only so much wild food that grows. If you get so many people looking for it, they'll pick an area clean. Same way with the wild game. If you don't have it on hand for a couple of months, then you're going to be hurting, because this could go into summer. And if it goes into summer, there's going to be a lot of people hurting, because the supply is not keeping up with the demand. But there are alternatives. You can look. There's a lot of places that carry food now that never did. The specialty store is kind of dying, so you're getting the big box stores that carry everything. This will be the next run. If it isn't already, Walmart's already seeing it. Like I said, some of the small towns have a pretty good supply. But again, it's the gasoline and time thing. You know, are you going to want to spend the time and the gasoline to get there to get it? Well, you may have to. If you live in a huge city, well, good luck, because all your supplies are trucked in. Out here where I'm at, there's small towns, small towns within walking distance, what I consider walking distance. What most people, there's at least 3. There's most people, wouldn't consider them walking distance. You know, I'm fair on that. I'll walk quite a ways. I don't care. I can carry a lot. But what is going to be important now is vegetables at store. Anything that is what my grandmother used to call tender that goes bad, strawberries are one. They'll have to be eaten quicker. But it doesn't make any sense to buy 15 pounds of strawberries unless you have a means to dry them or store them. Drying things, dehydrators are handy. If you can get the stuff to do it, now isn't the time to start dehydrating food, because things are hard to get. If you have a dehydrator, fine, and you can get it and keep it running, better yet. It doesn't sound like it. And from the Walmarts and the stores, grocery stores that I've seen, I walked in Sunday to our local grocery store in a bigger town to get onions, of all things. I was low on onions. I like onions. There wasn't an onion in that store, period. They had asparagus up the yak. I mean, great big bundles of asparagus that this winter was selling for $8. They were selling for $1.50. I picked up a load of that. I like asparagus. I'll eat it raw. I'll cook it. It doesn't matter. Now, when the situation's getting kind of dire on some stuff, you need to expand your reality. You know, frozen burritos, microwave burritos, all this other rot that everybody buys the crap out of, they'll leave the fresh produce sitting. Grab the produce. There's ways to store it. You could store it, things in vinegar. You could cook it. The refrigerator will keep it for quite a while. but you can actually dry it out on racks. It's one way to prep. Put it in jars. Eat it fresh. It might be something new. A lot of people, there are kids out there that I don't think have ever eaten an apple. A real apple, not something wrapped in pastry covered in sugar. This is going to be a learning experience for a lot of people, as it should be.